bitches, welcome back to the Rantin Review Pro Wrestling, and we're talking today about AEW Rampage, the very first edition that aired this past Friday on TNT. Before we get to that, of course, this being YouTube, I always ask you guys to help out the channel a little bit by hitting that like button, making sure it turns blue, because when you do, it lets YouTube's algorithm know to tell other people who like AEW to possibly check out this video. So I thank you very much. It does help out, and I appreciate it. So no new fancy set, no, big crazy change really, but it was a really fun show. AEW Rampage debuted this past Friday, and I thought, going in that, it's late Friday night, if this is from 10 to 11, most people are probably gonna be out or whatever. And I didn't know how it was going to affect this show. And it's only a 1 hour show, and it's following another wrestling show from WWE that was 2 hours long, so there may be fatigue. But you wouldn't tell, at least from the crowd in attendance in Pittsburgh, it felt like they had maybe a bit much, given the fact that it was 10 o'clock on a Friday night. But hey, it turned out to be a pretty damn good show. Opening up with the Impact / TNT Championship match, Kenny Omega defending those championships against Christian Cage. As I said before, I've never been a super huge fan of Christian Cage, but I think he doesn't have really awesome matches, and he doesn't have any sucky matches. He's always just had solid wrestling matches. Well, him paired with Kenny Omega was actually a pretty damn good pairing. It was better than I thought it was going to be. But then that makes sense because of Omega's ability to tell a story. Christian's technical proficiency is just very good with everything he does in the ring. There were a good couple of times. I remember the frog splash, a couple reversals that I thought Christian absolutely had this match won. I thought Omega had it won at one point or another, but turned out to be a distraction by Don Callis of the referee. That allowed the Young Bucks to come down looking like two jackasses and sliding a chair into the ring. Omega tried to give the one-wing angel to Christian on that chair, but it got reversed into the kill switch, and it looked nasty and brutal. They replayed it like 3 or 4 times. You could just see Omega's face just like against the side of the seat of the chair. Knocked out, 1, 2, 3. Christian is your new Impact TNT champion. Jurassic Express came to the ring. They helped them celebrate. Now, what my thoughts are going forward, there's going to be another match between these two, obviously, at the pay-per-view All Out, and that will be for the AEW Championship. Now, I think it's a good way that they did this because of the fact that, Don Callis, obviously, we all know this is coming up this week on Dynamite. He's going to say Christian cheated. He used a chair. It's everybody there. There's the evidence, yada, yada, yada. So I think what they're probably going to do is it probably will wind up being Kenny Omega and Christian Cage at All Out, but then it'll be for, both championships. It'll be either Christian's gonna have to put up the TNT Impact Championship against Omega, winner take all kind of a thing. And I fully expect that that's what's going to happen in the next week or two. That Kenny Omega will win back the TNT and Impact Championship. It's very similar to what Ric Flair did in the past back in the 80s. It reminds me of almost kind of like a Ronnie Garvin, Ric Flair situation where, a lot of the fans were like, I don't know about this guy being champion. He's good, but I don't know. And then he wins a title. But hopefully Christian's championship win will be a lot more highly remembered or his reign would be highly remembered than Ronnie Garvin's. Ronnie Garvin and Ric Flair, underrated feud, by the way, 1987. You guys got to check that out. Starrcade 87. Strong Style before it was Strong Style. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Fuego Del Sol is this great darling of all of the real hardcore AEW fans. He's been on Sammy Guevara's live blog, and he's been on AEW for a little bit. AEW Dark. Hasn't really won a match, so I understand, but he was going to be taking on Miro here again on Rampage for the TNT Championship. But more importantly than that, what Fuego was really fighting for was this contract with AEW if he beat Miro. And very early on, Miro shows why he's really good at this. I like this position they've got him in. He takes a couple of tornado DDTs from Del Sol, and you see Miro selling it like he's like wobbly and he's falling out of the ring and everything else. Like, this kid actually might have a chance to win this match. He actually made you believe that a couple times, and that's a sign of a good professional. Again, this is a sign of Miro that we never really seen before, him playing as kind of a champion defending against these lower card guys. Eventually he did get the upper hand though, and then just basically murdered Fuego and locked him into game over, which looks absolutely brutal now because he just full on cranks back with it now. It looked nasty, and Fuego tapped, and that was it. Miro took his contract, tore it up, and laughed and left the ring with the TNT Championship. But that wasn't going to be all, because out of nowhere comes Tony Khan for the first time officially on AEW television, along with Sammy Guevara, and then Sammy goes to the ring and he offers and gives Fuego Del Sol a actual AEW contract. He is all elite now, and the crowd went crazy for it. It was a feel-good moment. It's a perfect thing to have on a first show, and it's a perfect example of kind of what AEW does. They give you some wild, crazy moments like the first match, and then they give you something kind of emotional like this whole thing with Fuego getting his AEW contract. There were a couple other things mentioned here and there throughout the show. There was a mention again of Darby Allin and the Best of the World thing. Of course, next Friday's Rampage is the one where people are expecting CM Punk to show up. We don't know. We'll see what happens. But then that led into this interesting little thing that they're doing now where they have the split screen of the two participants in the main event, with being Britt Baker and Red Velvet, with Mark Henry in the middle kind of conducting like one of these Sports Center interviews. And then he ends it with let's go to the main event or something like that. I think they're going to be doing that every single week. I think that's going to be, it sounded like a catchphrase that he's going to say every single week before the main event. So I guess we're getting the first of those here. But yes, in the main event is Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defending the AEW Women's Championship against Red Velvet. And these two, they meshed well. This is a better match than I thought it was going to be. Britt Baker's character, and again, her being in Pittsburgh Steelers, but anyway, it's her hometown, so it was Britsburg. She's massively over here, and they booked it right. They didn't. I'm not going to draw any comparisons, but sometimes some wrestling companies, what they'll do in this situation is they'll just keep booking it the way they think it, because Britt's supposed to be the heel and Red Velvet's supposed to be the face. But given that this is Britt Baker's hometown, don't book it the way you would. Know what you're doing, know your audience, and then they flipped it. So basically, Red Velvet worked a lot of this match kind of like a heel, and Britt worked it kind of like a face. Of course, Britt did her own nasty, dirty stuff here and there, as she does. Red Velvet looked amazing. There was a couple really cool near falls in this one. He also worked in the fact that Britt's wrist is injured, and they worked that into the match several times, again, helping Red Velvet look like a heel in this match. But it was Britt Baker that eventually got the win. By all means necessary, she got the win, and the crowd in her hometown went crazy for it. Jamie Hayter, who hasn't been around for they said since 2019 in AEW, or around AEW from the very beginning, she is back, and she is the backup that Britt Baker's been talking about. I think the crowd was a little confused as to who she was, but of course, as things went on, the fans spread it amongst each other, because it's been 2 years. I think a lot of people probably forgot who she was. But this is a great addition to the AEW Women's Division. We're starting to see, if they're continuing like this, the AEW Women's Division might get a lot more hype than it has now. And I think Rampage is a good spot for them to highlight their women's matches, because it's only an hour show. You're probably going to get 3 matches on the show. You can really do something there. So my thoughts overall on AEW Rampage, the very first episode, I thought it was a fun show. A lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. It's an hour show. It moves fast, as AEW tends to do. It keeps things going. It keeps your eyeballs on it. The matches were fun and fantastic, and the first match was a shocker to many people, and a solid matches all around. They all did what they were supposed to do and did them well. So I can't do anything but recommend AEW Rampage on the first night. Now, this coming Friday, the Chicago show at the United Center. Just hold on, because it's like a countdown. They brilliantly booked this thing and teased this thing to the fact that right now people are counting down the days into the Chicago show to see what in the world is going to happen. I'm hoping that it's something. I hope it's good. I hope for AEW's sake it better be exactly what everybody thinks it's going to be. But I want to know what you guys think about Rampage. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Also, don't forget down below, I got a lot of free goodies for you guys. Free stocks, free cryptocurrency, free 30-day trials to Amazon and Audible. All that kind of stuff is down in the description box below. And don't forget to share this video on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or wherever you talk about AEW or pro wrestling. I'll see you guys again soon for more news, reviews here on the Rantin Review Pro Wrestling. Have a good day.